Did Ilia Topuria really domestically abuse the mother of his kids, Georgina, his ex-wife? Or is Georgina looking for an ulterior motive to gain leverage when it comes to getting custody of her children? You guys, Ilia Topuria in the morning drops an official statement on us. And in this statement, it's basically claiming that Georgina is pressing domestic abuse charges against the lightweight world champion in the UFC, Ilia Topuria. And Topuria decides to drop an official statement on us. Now, this official statement basically informs us everything that's going down within him in the next couple months, the reason why he will not be defending his lightweight title, and also the repercussions that come from the allegations that Georgina has made. My people, before we get into reading word for word on this official statement, I just want to keep in mind, don't forget, we know in the NBA, in the NFL, in soccer, in boxing, in the acting world, these come up a lot. And they seem to come up during the times of divorce, right? When divorce starts to happen, all of a sudden, one party of the relationship is claiming that they were domestically abused, right? That there was a lot of other things that went down during this time period that they were in this relationship. Now, some have won, but some have also been, frauds. Some have actually lied and used certain tactics like this to gain financial money from it, or also make the other person look bad. So when they go to court and they're fighting for custody of their children, the person that has all these charges against them more than likely won't win. Okay, this is called an ulterior motive. Go look that up. A lot of women, and I wouldn't even say women, there's been men in the world too that have used this, but this is a good tactic in a way of trying to gain leverage to win custody of your children. Now, if you're being false about this, it can completely backfire. Now, that's what we're going to be talking about today in this paragraph as I read this official statement to you guys. All right, so this is Ilia Topuria this morning, and I don't think Ilia Topuria actually wrote this up. I think the lawyers of Topuria wrote this up. All right, so let's go ahead and break it down, man. It says, over the past several weeks, I have made the difficult decision to temporarily stay away from defending my title. We all know, if you guys haven't heard, Topuria will not be competing in the UFC until spring, right? He will not defend his title till March, April, June, July, any one of those months. More than likely, it's going to be a month where all this has been settled and he knows what's going to happen from all this. All right, so let's continue to read. It says, this was not a decision I took lightly. However, when circumstances arise that threaten your personal integrity, your family, and your reputation, there comes a point where you must address this directly. So something is happening, which we all know now, domestic abuse charges are being towards his way, that he didn't have time to focus on MMA no more. This is serious, man. He's fighting for his kids here. Custody for his kids, because if he does get charged for domestic abuse, wow, man, it's going to be absolutely shocking. It's going to be difficult to get his kids. In recent months, I have been subjected to severe and unacceptable pressure. Now listen to this, including threats to disseminate false allegations of domestic abuse unless financial demands were met. Now, that word right there, disseminate, it's a hard word to say. That means spread, to spread. Okay, so reread that sentence, including threats to spread false allegations of domestic abuse unless financial demands were met. So is Georgina threatening Topuria on certain times in their relationship of there being domestic abuse to be able to try to get some fun? Because that is what it is saying right here. It says, these allegations are entirely unfounded. The truth is not a matter of opinion, which she probably has. It's a matter of evidence, right? You need evidence to be able to charge somebody of something. If the court decides that there's enough evidence to do this, then they will. But if there isn't, then there's no case. Let's continue to read. All relevant evidence has been carefully preserved and documented, including audio recordings, written communications, witness statements, and video material. This evidence has been submitted to the appropriate judicial authorities in order to pursue legal action for attempted extortation, falsification of, what does that word say, of evidence, misappropriation of funds and personal property, and multiple threats. So he's gonna go at her now for lying, for, just lying about all this, putting out there that he domestically abused her when she could be lying this whole time. So Ilia Topuria's lawyer team is basically saying we're going to be going after her for making these false accusations. Okay, let's continue to read. My initial decision to remain silent was softly to protect my children, who are the most important part of my life. However, I came to understand that silence under these circumstances does not protect the truth. It allows false narratives to take a hold, and that's a fact. We live in 2026. We live in an era where people can make false accusations all over social media everywhere and, create a narrative around something that could, possibly not even be true at all. So let's continue. Many individuals have faced similar situations, right? And time and again, the legal system has ultimately clarified the facts. Today, I am stepping forward not only for my family and myself, but also to demonstrate that no one should be forced to yield to intimidation, right? His girl's trying to intimidate him by giving him these threats to give me money, this and that, all right? Manipulation or fear. Those who know me can attest that I have never engaged in violence of any kind, and that my life and career have always been guided by discipline, respect, and integrity. I have full confidence in the judicial process and will allow the legal system to determine the facts based on evidence. Out of respect for my children and the ongoing legal proceedings, I will not be making any other further public statements. I respectfully ask that the speculation be avoided and that my family's privacy be honored during this sensitive time. The truth does not require volume, it requires facts. Thank you. Signed by Ilia Topuria. So basically, in this official statement, you have Ilia Topuria saying, I'm going to take this time off up until spring because my ex-wife, Georgina, is pressing domestic abuse charges against me that are completely false. As you see in this statement, he claims that they have already put all the text messages, video recordings, every single thing that had to do that you can use for evidence in this case. They have rightfully and cooperatively gave all this up to the police so that way they can do a full investigation and come up with a conclusion. Listen, we talked about ulterior motives. We know when somebody is going through a divorce with a really rich person, you feel like you're obligated to that person's money, right? I married them. I am the mother to their kids. It is what it is. That's how the court system works. But that does not mean that you have to make false allegations towards somebody, abuse, and completely ruin their reputation and possibly their career with these type of allegations just because your man is leaving you. All right? Don't forget, this woman comes from Miami. It has nothing to do with it, but you guys know how this happens, right? This happens to NFL, NBA, boxers. They're getting taken advantage of. They act like they're in love. As soon as the divorce happens, boom, every single thing starts coming out. And we don't know for a fact that Ilia Topuria did not, domestically abuse his family. We don't know that for a fact yet, but I'm sitting here right now telling you guys, based off the official statement, based off of, knowing Ilia Topuria, watching him through the UFC this last couple of years, I doubt that he did this, my friends. I really do, man. I see the reaction video that Bryce Mitchell came out with and dropped. Thug Nasty automatically, taking the woman's side on this and calling him an abuser and this and that, when I believe the evidence is going to show what really happened, right? we're going to see if the evidence has enough to prove that Ilia Topuria was domestically abusing his wife. Don't forget, man, what was it? 2009, Dwayne Wade played for the Miami Heat, was getting charges his way from his ex-wife. What was her name? Suvana Wade. She was claiming that Dwayne Wade got STDs from having an affair with another woman, brought it to her, gave her STDs. It was also claiming that he was never there for the kids, that he was abusing the kids, that this, that, and that. The next year after that, she drops the charges. He never gets charged. What ends up happening a couple years later? Dwayne Wade gets full custody of his kids. Okay? She made these accusations up. She didn't end up going through with them. Who knows if there was a side payoff? Who knows? But she didn't go through with them. A couple years later, she loses full custody to her kids. Is Georgina just trying to make threats and come up with excuses and look for different type of tactics to be able to take Ilia Topuria down to get money? Is it possible? Because, you know, this is a weird one, because you say to yourself, well, if she's doing that and she knows that maybe it's not true, Ilia Topuria has the monies to get the great lawyers, it's going to be proved wrong in court. And because of that, it's going to, you know, he can sue her for defamation and make her look completely horrible. And also, when it comes to getting full custody of the kids, he might be able to get full custody of them now. So we're going to see how all this plays out. We're going to see if she drops the charges for some sort of reason. Maybe she didn't do it, or she goes through with them. Now, if she goes through with them, it is going to be an interesting battle to see what she actually is claiming, you know, when it comes to the actual facts of how this domestic abuse went down. Okay? That being said, I'm going to stick by Ilia Topuria's side on this. I'm not going to take the Bryce Mitchell. I'm not going to take, you know, that side just yet. I want to see real facts. I want to see real evidence, because in the back of my head, I'm thinking of ulterior motives. I'm thinking she was using this to threaten him to get money and just look for leverage to be able to win custody of her children. Now, is she dumb enough to do that and lie about this and take it to court? I don't know. But we have seen this happen before. We have seen this happen before. It happens in boxing a whole lot. And I'm not saying guys aren't out there beating women, but I'm also not saying that it is a fact that women do go out there and look for the opportunities. Okay? This is the MMA Boxing Addicts channel. Let me know in the comments what you guys think went down between Topuria and his ex-wife Georgina, and also how this is all going to play out. I got a feeling it's going to play out with her dropping charges. He ain't going to be charged for nothing. And they might end up being mutual on the custody aspect of their children. We'll see. He might be able to get full custody of his children. Very, very interesting topic. But again, this is the MMA Boxing Addicts channel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button. And I'm out.